Hancock. BJ. Oh, dear me. Cummins. It's all coming now. Oh,
Johnny,
Hancock.
Johnny, are you watching Pornhub again,
Uh,
mate?
no, I don't. No, it's not. It's Hancock, BJ, Boris Johnson, Dominic Cummins. I'm looking at the news, not Pornhub.
Okay,
No.
mate. Okay,
Yeah,
that's all right.
it's because for this episode of More News from Nowhere, we'll be talking about the Matt Hancock affair and all that, and it's all brought in Dominic Cummins and Boris Johnson. That's what I'm on about.
Of course, of course.
And I was just wondering, with everything that's going off now, the cracks are really starting to show. I wonder if people still be following the rules and wearing the face nappies.
Yeah, well, you never know. I mean, talking about nappies, though, mate.
Hmm?
What do politicians and nappies have in common?
I don't know what they have in common.
Both need to be changed regularly, and for the same reason.
I like that. I like that. I'm very true. I'm very true. Well, I think on that note, we'll roll intro. Well, another edition of More News from Nowhere with the whole Matt Hancock story. It's a big one, isn't it, Paul?
It is, but are you watching Pornhub again, mate?
No, it's about the Matt Hancock story. It's a big story, not anything else. Right. Anyway, so yes, the story that's dominating the news at the moment, isn't it? Matt Hancock and his affair and everything else that surrounds it. What do you make of that, Paul?
I agree with most people's comments. It's basically feels like it's again one rule for one rule for another. He's obviously saying, stay indoors, don't go out, don't hug, and yet what is he doing? Going out, hugging, and doing a lot more than hugging.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's your thoughts about it, mate?
Exactly same. Yeah. I mean, there's a demand for him to resign, isn't there now? I think some people he should have resigned ages ago. Should have been kicked out ages ago. There's a Fergina Colin D'Angelo or something. Is a name. Yeah, I think people are up in arms because, well, apart from him breaking all the rules like they all do, because like you say, it's one rule for them, different for us. As well, she was like just an aide, wasn't she? That he promoted to be a top advisor, which just so they could,
Mm-hmm.
I think that stirred a lot of people because it's her wages are being paid by the taxpayers. It's another job that's been, that we have to pay for basically. I think so. Because one side is saying, well, it's an affair and it's a personal thing. Well, in normal circumstances, yes, it is. But the way it's been dealt with, it brings us into it because the way he's floundering the restrictions, which we know are a load of BS anyway, but that's not the point of this, the argument. And because the taxpayer is paying for his bit on the sides, higher salary. So, of course it becomes our, business as well. It's just it's just incredible, really.
I was going to say, obviously Matt Hancock obviously had a bit of a thing to do with helping a friend out with the PPE. So he had a thing together to get that PPE settled contract. And I'm thinking, surely that should have been made. He should have been fired then.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's they all seem to be just doing what they want. But the thing that gets me is these things are being exposed, and we know how the media work. They're only exposed if they're meant to be exposed. So, I think this is it's not that the reporting has broke the story. I think it's meant to be. I think they're throwing Hancock to the lions now. I think this is all. That photograph of them snogging and that of kissing. I'm pretty sure they had that, at least weeks in advance, if not months, ready for the right time. But my own personal feeling is that the public, even the ones that follow the narrative, don't trust Hancock. Matt Hancock is universally not trusted, and I don't think they can have him playing this narrative anymore. I think his time has run out. He doesn't present anything to strengthen the narrative, because I think he's run his course, and I think that's going to take him out, and they'll replace him with someone will seem to have a bit more integrity, just to bolster the narrative. That's my prediction anyway, that they'll bring someone in, because they know that this narrative is derailing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of that is because of Matt Hancock, as well as others. He's the main one, and I think they're going to get rid of him himself.
Yeah. I think that when he did that GMTV, I think it was, where he did the fake crying.
Yeah. Just simple words there, reacting it. You're quite emotional by that.
Well, it's just, it's been such a tough year for so many people, and there's William Shakespeare putting it so simply for everybody that, we can get on with our lives.
Yeah. I mean, that also woke a lot of people up. In my mind, I think it woke a lot of people up. That was not genuine tears.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's done enough damage. I think he's done damage to the narrative more than anything else. Mm-hmm. And I think the rulers, if whatever you want to call them, just thought, right, it's time's up. It's damage limitation with him now. It's we've got to get rid. And I think he would have been briefed about it. I think he would have been told about it. I think he would have been brought in, hauled into the office or something, and said, look, time's up. We know about your affair and everything. We'll give you mass payoff, everything else. But, the public don't agree with you. The public are against you. You don't serve it anymore. I'm sorry, But I think he knows his time's up. I think he knew his time was up probably a few weeks ago, maybe. I don't know, before it all broke. I don't know, but definitely the ones in charge knew this for a while.
Yeah. And like George Carlin would have said, it'd just be garbage in, garbage out.
Now, there's one thing you might have noticed I don't complain about. Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Yeah! Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
It would be, another politician replacing Matt Hancock. But again, it's a politician. So what do politicians do? Well, lie and also help to feed the rich.
Yes, exactly. That's all it is, isn't it, really? That's all it is. And to fulfill this narrative, whatever narrative is, they're there to fulfill it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing people are up in arms about, rightly so again, is that, he chastised Neil Ferguson for, his affair and flouting the rules, which obviously he did. He made another mockery of everything.
Yep.
I mean, it's a mockery anyway, the rules and everything, but but of course Matt Hancock was calling for his resignation because of that. So now he's in that position. So it's just, I don't know. There's a lot there where even, the people who follow the narrative, can't fail to see his side of the bullshit, sorry to swear, but,
yeah. I mean, I would like to see Kate Burley, Matt Hancock, and Ferguson all together having a debate, and like everyone's saying like pot kettle black, pot. Basically, they've all done it, haven't they? All breaking the rules.
Yeah. Again, I wonder if this part of the again the fabric of the narrative cracking, because people are waking up for it, and the energy that's holding this narrative is very flaky now, and I'm wondering if this is just part of it as well. That the energy of it is now just begin to crack, because it can't be held in this energy, as strong as it has been at least. So this is part. I think this is part of that as well, energetically and spiritually. I think this is part of it, that this has come about because the cracks are showing and people are waking up.
Yeah,
and
change.
Yeah, and I'm quite positive in that way that that at least for this COVID narrative, at least it can't hold any longer. I really can't see it progressing. If they pull back again, they're saying a couple of weeks, aren't they? They're holding back for this Freedom Day. If they do it again, surely anyone who is still going along with the narrative, they need to be really shaken, because what more can it's really obvious now, but if they pull back again, God, that's got to sweep up the rest of them, surely. I mean, I can't see how it can't, but there's going to be still a significant amount of people still, living in fear a bit, but I think that'll wake up a lot of people if they do it again.
I think so.
So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how that pans out, Paul. Really watching how that works out, and see if he does resign. I think he will. I think there'll be some. I think he'll be moving out of his position. So be interested to see who fills it, or if anyone does, or if things start to crack. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? So be interested to see that. So anything else, Paul?
There's also been an interesting find recently. I think it's in China, where there's a skull of a person. Well, not a person, but more like a Neanderthal, like a caveman.
Oh yeah. And
they're saying it's very similar to our skull, but I think it's larger. So really, I think a big person. I don't know. What's your? Have you seen it?
A little bit, yeah. I think it's. Well, it said it's been wrapped up and hidden for over 90 years, so it's nearly 100 years. And I think scientists are looking at it and wondering how it fits into human evolution. I think that was the thing, wasn't it?
I think they're calling it the Dragon Man or something like that. I think they're calling it.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah. We'll have to put the link down so people can have a look at it. But I think it's interesting to have a look at this. I mean, obviously with Andrew Johnson about the Starchild skull, I know it's a bit different, but it's showing that a bit of history, both with human and human hybrid alien things, has happened. I mean, the Starchild skull. I'm convinced it's an alien hybrid. I think it's been covered up basically to try and say it's a human. Anyone wants to look more into that? Look into our interviews with Andrew Johnson on the Starchild skull. I don't think there's any developments with that. We'll have to ask Andrew. But going back to this one, yeah, it's a strange one. Apparently, it was found in 1933.
Okay.
Originally, and then it was like wrapped up or something by some Chinese labourers. They were building this bridge or something. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm looking down. I don't know if they've had any kind of conclusions. I think that's what they're working on. But they're saying that they believe it's a Harbin skull.
Okay.
It's distinct enough to make it a new species, which a new species means it will put evolution, if it's not connected to any other species, if it's a brand new. So I think that's where they're going with it. But we'll see. Well, I mean, that's another one to keep an eye on, maybe.
Yeah. I'm talking about evolution. Do you think that we have changed much as a human race? In the last 2,000 years? Do you think we have changed much? Because I can't see much differences in.
No, I mean, evolution's I think with evolution, it's one of these things in science where it's a bit like the Big Bang theory. It's still a theory, but they present it as a fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it shouldn't be discussed any other way than this, Yeah. But and I mean, my understanding of science now is anything that's presented as okay, this is this is how far the science got. This is it, even though it's a theory. Always question that. There's a reason, that they don't want you to divulge in this even more, But I think there's a big case for definitely a big case to evolution to be revised, because it's. I mean, once you know about obviously the nature of reality and everything like that, that throws a whole new understanding about everything,
Really.
But yeah, I'm not one for the evolution, model really. It's not set in my heart. Definitely not.
No, me too. So
that's evolution. There's not really been an evolution of politicians, are there, has there, Paul? They've always been the same, haven't they?
They always have been the same. And talking about politicians, there was a joke I heard recently. I thought it was quite funny. Can I tell you?
Of course, yeah. I've got to end on a joke.
Okay. So there was this farmer, and he was looking after his cows and sheep. And then whilst he was doing that, he heard a big bang. I'm talking about Big Bang, you see again, evolution, Big Bang. And anyway, so he goes over to investigate, and he sees this coach, and it's just like, it's all on fire. And so he gets all the bodies out, and he buries them all. And anyway, so the priest comes over to investigate as well, and they said to the farmer, so what's happened over here then? He said, well, they're all like a bus load of politicians, and so I had to like bury them all. He said, were they all dead then? And the farmer said, well, one or two of them said that they're still alive, but you can't trust these politicians these days, can you?
I like it. And I wish that would happen. That'd be great. No, we shouldn't wish that on anyone now. But but some of the politicians, they're going to have a hard time, when they have to face karma. But I like that joke. It's good. I like that because oh, brilliant. I love it. Well, I think on that note, I think it's a good place to end this episode. So it's goodbye from me.
That's goodbye from me.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies, tell me lies. Oh no, you can't disguise. You can't disguise. No, you can't disguise. Tell me